ये अच्छा है। पिछली बार धूप में बैठा था, पूरा टैन हो गया था। आउच, बहुत छोटा ही है। ठीक है। हे गाइस, आई होप, ऐसे नहीं, थोड़ा अच्छे से कर। हे गाइस, आई होप यू ऑल आर डूइंग गुड। वी हैव रिसेंटली नहीं आएगा, ठीक है यार, कितने बार समझाऊँ मैं यार, फिर से ले। Hey guys, I hope you all are doing good. Our channel has completed मतलब ऊपर वाला आके बचा ले मेरे को। Hey guys, I hope you all are doing good. जान दे उनको, वो भी देख ही रही है वैसे। कम से कम शुरुआत अच्छी होनी चाहिए, बाद में तुम कितना भी हवा चलता है। बहुत कम लोग देखते ना, ऐसी बात है। वैसे अच्छा किया काफ़ी पहले का, बीच में थोड़ा सा हो गया, फिर से लेंगे, फिर से जैसा कहा था वैसी फिर से बोलेंगे, ठीक ठाक ही आएगा वैसे मेरे ख्याल से।
अबे जल्दी बोल, कल सुबह पनवेल निकलना है।
ठीक है, धूप ज़्यादा आए ना प्लीज़ यार, वैसे ये बचा के रखेगा मेरे को। ठीक है, चलो। Hey guys, I hope you all are doing good. Our channel has completed 6 years on YouTube now. Honestly, I was trying to delay this video, which was supposed to be released on our channel's actual anniversary date of 31st May, for a reason that I'll share with you later in the video. This video is all about my second year at the university. As you guys know that I have recently graduated from my 2 years master's program in electrical and computer engineering from the University of Ottawa. By the way, if you are also interested in my first year experience, you should definitely go and check out my earlier video that I posted. My experience at the university was really amazing and rich. I have not only achieved a significant academic milestone in my life, but I'm also taking home some really valuable life lessons and memories that I made during this adventurous journey. In my opinion, master studies are very different from bachelor studies, mainly in a sense that you are more on your own in the former. You surely get more flexibility in selecting courses for specialization and expert faculty advice, but at the same time, it demands a lot of self-research and discipline throughout. Ultimately, that makes you learn more and not be limited to any syllabus in particular, which is merely a rough guideline. केचड़ माचड़ और ये 1 मिनट, ये 16 कैसे? Now I would like to share the interesting technical courses that I took in my second year. The first one was wireless power transfer and energy harvesting. A really amazing course, again with Professor Daniyal, as I told you guys in the last video. So this was a design-based course, and we actually designed many different things, starting right from the coils that are used to transmit energy wirelessly using near field, magnetically coupled transmit and receive coils. So we actually modeled them in 3D environment, did really cool electromagnetic simulation, and extracted the parameters of the set of coils, and then integrated it into the circuit simulation and design the driving circuitry of transmitter, and also at the receive side the energy harvester that you need to extract the energy from the receiving coil. And the other course was my final industry internship project. I got a golden opportunity to work with Professor Miodrag Bolik on a microwave radar based contactless fault detection system for elderly living in retirement homes. I am really proud to witness the success of project in a relatively short span of 3 months. I must admit that this project was really research intensive, and I, along with my colleagues, spent a lot of time on it. But in return, we were awarded in the Design Day 2024, which was really nice. Other than that, I was also involved in 2 different organizations at the university. The first one, Rover, that's our university's Mars rover team. And this year, I was more like an advisor than a regular member, because I was really busy with all of this, but I definitely contributed in the battery system design and also the robotic arm design, along with the help of really passionate undergrad electrical and mechanical students. We organized a lot of networking events and expert talks. अरे यार ये क्या चल रहा है? ठीक है फिर से. And parallel to that, I really enjoyed being in the professional development club, PDC in short. We organized a lot of different networking events and expert talks, which was really beneficial for students as well as for us. All right, now I am at a new location. It's just opposite to the Rideau River. From the park where I initially was getting filled with a lot of people, and really I don't know how people shoot being outside. It's really hard. It's not easy for me to focus, so hopefully now I can continue. Okay, so coming to the best part of my master's program, which was definitely the co-op internship. Just because I gained a lot of practical and professional experience being in Lumentum. If you guys know that, last year I joined this company, Lumentum, and they're one of the leaders in the cutting edge telecommunication equipment. They do a lot of R&D, design, manufacturing, and all of this. So I joined them in last year, May, and from then it was actually 8 months term. I finished my 8 months term, and then because I requested my then manager, Tatiana, to extend my internship and to transfer me into electrical team, because I like electrical. That's what I do, right? Like electronics and electrical. So they really liked my work that I did in the first eight months being in the process team, and they referred me to the electrical team, and then that's how I actually got an extension working part-time with the electrical team. That was really exciting. And at the same time, I was kind of a little bit sad to leave your original team, but the reality is that I was still working on the projects from my main team, or like from my original team. So that was a really good experience working with like a lot of different teams. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the interesting projects that I want to share with you guys during my internship. So for the first 8 months when I was, process engineer. So I think I mentioned this project to you before. It was the power consumption monitoring project. So my manager had this idea. She was really interested in knowing the power consumption of individual lab equipment that we have. For example, an industrial oven that they use for various different purposes, such as curing, when you cure the epoxy or different chemicals or sealants. So because we just know how the facility as a whole consumes power, but we don't know how much this process emits. So I took it as a challenge, and with my background in electronics and electrical stuff, I thought that this can be my main project and something that I can achieve in the given time. So I started working on the project as soon as I got the green signal from my manager, and believe me, this project was one of the most challenging projects that I've ever seen, because at every step there were multiple different problems which I faced for the first time. So that was hard to solve them, but at the end, like within actually a month, I was able to design a device completely from scratch, which can wirelessly connect with the existing system at the company, and relay all the information, all the electrical information like voltage, current, power, and then how much electrical energy is consumed. And I designed everything from the electrical circuitry, the electronic circuitry, the micro controller, and the power section, and the measurement circuitry, and also the firmware and software required for it. On top of that, I also designed the user dashboard that actually pulls data from the online database from where the device stores the data actually in that online database over Wi-Fi. And then this dashboard actually provides really valuable insights like the carbon emission, the idle time of the equipment, and along with the energy. That's the main concern. And also, I think I forgot this one. I also, for the first time, designed the housing for the electrical device. So this was really interesting because designing it with industry standard software. I actually used Solid Edge to design the housing, and I'll let you guys see how the device looks. I'll pop up that somewhere here. And so that was like just a month that I created the first prototype, and then I continued working it after I gave the the first presentation to the team, and they were really impressed. Like not bragging, but yeah, definitely, like within a month they were not expecting anything like this. And then I kept working on the same project for the coming months, but there were other projects as well that were introduced to me because this team, they barely had anyone who had a really good understanding of electrical and electronics, because this was mainly mechanical and optical team, so they actually assigned me a new project trusting on my electrical abilities. That was helping their new robotic station to set up their new robotic station and see all the electrical wirings and the controllers. From there, I really got a good exposure on industrial 6-axis robots that can be used for different manufacturing processes. So these were the two main projects that I worked on in the first 8 months. There were some side projects, but these were the most two interesting projects. And then I switched to the electrical team, and then I actually can recall a project that was the heater controller. I designed that heater controller, the control scheme of that. So they already had these heaters, but then the challenge was to have multi-channel heater in the same cell of the robot, and the existing heater controller could only handle one heater at a time. So that was a challenge, how to scale that to like 6 heaters to actually control 6 individual heaters, but have a single controlling element that we can access over the Ethernet. So that's kind of a centralized control to have like better and easy control, reliable control over all the individual heating process. So basically everything was going really good. Both my managers really liked my work and my dedication towards doing projects, especially if they're electrical and electronics related. And all of this hard work got me featured in the Lumentum's intern spotlight, where they feature some good intern stories, and I was really proud of that. As a result of my good performance, my manager, Dusan, in the electrical team, he was ready to absorb me as a full-time after my internship as a full-time electrical engineer. And I was really excited for that, and thought that this is pretty much set. But then came the company results, and they were not that good as they were initially expecting. So everything actually changed after that. They no longer had funds to be able to afford an electrical engineer. So that position no longer existed. And that definitely disheartened me, because especially when it's not your fault and you lose some opportunity, you actually feel bad, and when you know that you have worked hard for that. But anyways, so that was the reality, and I finally accepted it. And I still remember when it was my time to leave the organization in my last few days. People seemed to be very sad, more than I actually expected, and including both of my managers. My previous manager, Tatiana, she actually said that it's really unfortunate that that they could not keep me, and that she rarely sees such capable intern in the company, and that thing alone was a really big compliment for me. Yeah. And then my then current manager, Dushan, from the electrical team, him and I had a talk the last second day, I think. And yeah, he was also sad seeing me go, because he knew my potential, and plus the projects, like he had seen it himself, and he knew that I have a lot of interest in this electrical field. And he said to me that he was really impressed by my work, that I did my final presentation and all, and that it was just because of the financials of the company that he had to make this hard choice and let me go. But he assured me that in the future, if there will be any openings, I will be his first choice, and that we should stay in contact. Yeah, so for me, this was my first time contributing to a proper company for like an year. This is a long time, because earlier than that, I had only worked for a company for 6 months, but here it was like 1 full year. So, I was really sad and emotional. Yeah, so for me, leaving the organization was, really hard. But even more than that, seeing how people actually recognized my skills and my contribution, and the way they felt really sad, especially the last day I actually saw, to a point where they wanted to hug me. like so in itself, I was at least happy that my contributions were really meaningful. And that's the reason I think that if you work hard, and if you do something that's really useful for the organization, you'll definitely be remembered for long. Yeah, so after I finished my internship in April, I visited India finally for the first time after like 1.5 years. And boy, it was really hot at that time. And actually made a mistake to visit India in the peak heat. It was May, like the start of May, and when I landed, the temperature was I think feels like 43 something, 43, 44. That was terrible. Yeah, but it was really good to be back home. So I went out with my friends and family, ate a lot of really tasty, delicious Indian food. And then after an entire month at home in Wardha, I came back here for my convocation ceremony. I really wanted my parents to be there with me at such a great occasion, and luckily they got here just in time. So we were there together. We celebrated our convocation, and then also because they were here for for an entire month, I planned for different places to visit in like nearby in Ontario. So we started with Niagara Falls, a really beautiful place that I had never been to, and then we went to Quebec province, going through 2 different cities that are the hub of French culture. That's Montreal first, and then Quebec City. Both were really beautiful cities, but I think I personally like Montreal more, but Quebec was also good. Not as populated as Montreal is, but it was really good. And by the way, I also had a trip to Toronto. And by the way, I also had a trip to Toronto last time in December. And I was actually shocked to see, such high-rise buildings, and especially the really tall CN Tower. Okay, so after a really long and very good, memorable vacation, the next goal was to actually find a really good job. It's been 4 months now, and yet now I'm unemployed. Yeah, actually, this is the harsh reality. But let me take you to behind the scenes and explain what really happened. So over this period, I actually gave 4 interviews for different positions for different companies. Not surprisingly, the first 2 were with Lumentum because I knew many people there, and vice versa, and also because my managers recommended me. They liked my work, so just because of that I actually got 2 interviews. But the problem with these positions were that they were not really that much hardware focused, so there were like some elements of hardware to it, but just like 30-40%, and the rest was actually software. And you guys actually know that I'm not a big fan of software, and it's obviously more hardware. I can do software, but to a certain extent. Yeah, and so I think they didn't want to take any chance on a newcomer, because especially in software I don't know much, but in hardware I do know. Yeah, so that was with Lumentum. But then the other 2 positions were actually hardware based. The first one was with Sienna, and the other one was with Pulsenix. The first position was actually power electronics engineer. The other one was hardware verification engineer. So definitely something that I was looking for, but both of them actually required experience. And the thing is that they're really specific. So, they really want a specific skill set. And the problem with newcomers, again, I just have 1 year of experience, here in Canada, co-op, and I have like half a year of experience with other company in India, and actually did my best in the interview. I went to the final rounds. Same is the case with the earlier interviews at Lumentum, but here I was really hoping that I will get selected, but sadly, sadly this wasn't the case. And then, my dear friends, when when you give 4 interviews and reach the final rounds in all of them, and still you didn't land up with anything, then you then you feel more concerned. And at least in the final one, in the last 2, because I knew they were totally related to me and I actually did my best, but I think they actually found someone who is more experienced than me. Simply just because of that, I wasn't selected. But because of this, I actually, like, for the first time I actually got a little bit a little bit actually got a little bit depressed, because 4 months you're out of the university. I actually never thought this could happen, and actually trusted my abilities, but yeah, like, this is the reality. The thing is that in the Canadian market, and even I think in any other market, like, getting into an industry is becoming really hard, and especially with something that's more technical, really specific, something like semiconductor industry or things like this. The barrier entry is really high. Like, you have to know those skills, and even for an entry level position, they expect significant experience. And on top of that, these entry level positions, you only see them rarely, like very few, and they just go for they just go for a higher level. And like, a lot of the recruitment is mainly for senior, mid-senior positions, and not for entry level. Okay, so however bad the situation is, I'm still hopeful and still believe in my capabilities and my knowledge. I just have to play smart and be consistent, and definitely will land up with something good. But what are the solutions then? So I think as I said, consistency. Then at the same time, I have to invest more time, obviously, to learn skills, and especially targeting, pinpoint these skills that are needed for the position that I dream of, and also networking. So as a matter of fact, like here, networking is really important. And just the fact that my first two interviews were in the same company where I did my internship. So networking is really is really important. And in fact, I'll tell you that many of my friends, like, the situation is so bad, you don't even get reply from recruiters when you apply for jobs, and let alone get a call for interview. So it's definitely way better if you know someone in the company, and then at least you land up with an interview, and then from there they can assess whether you are good or not for the role. But even getting that first step, that's getting an interview call, is really hard if you don't know anyone. Now, one good thing that happened to me is at least that meanwhile, when I'm doing my job hunt, I don't need to worry about my financials, because there's a thing called as employment insurance here. So just because I've worked for a set amount of hours, like more than 700 hours during my internship, so that's the insurable number of hours, I'm actually getting some financial support from the government. It's like 55% of my income that I had in my last year. So that's good enough, and I can easily survive in even half of that, like 60% of that, and rest is my savings. So at least that's I don't have pressure for that, and thanks to this I can focus all of my effort towards job search. Not being able to secure a job was actually my reason for delaying this video, which is stupid, but I was kind of fully focusing on that one goal of getting a job. And who would want to show their struggling side, and was hoping for the good news. However, when I didn't make my fourth interview, I'm not gonna lie, I actually felt sad and depressed a little bit. Not for long, just for like a day or two, and then I was back. But then I realized that this way I would not be able to achieve other goals of my life, like this YouTube channel. And from the past 5 years, I have been consistently posting yearly updates, and this was the sixth installment. And then I thought I should get back to this as soon as possible, even months after the original location. But yeah, now we are getting back on track. One thing I have learned from this is that you can achieve more in life if you're not affected by your other tasks while you're doing a particular task. So essentially, you doing a task should be independent and not being that much affected by other tasks, so that you can focus on that. And when you're doing one, your entire focus should be just that, and you shouldn't think about your other tasks, especially when you fail in others. That shouldn't affect your other work. That's the main thing. Okay, so meanwhile, while I'm doing my job search, I have picked up a new hobby. Actually, not exactly a new hobby, but an evolved hobby, you can say. So that's to paint on a canvas, with acrylics. So, many of you might know that I've been sketching, drawing, and painting from a long time, right from my school time. But I never tried it on canvas. It's really different. And also, this is my first time using acrylic as a painting medium. Yeah, this is really, really nice, and especially when like you have something physical, this canvas, and your painting will remain. So and also the process of drawing and painting and sketching, all of this is really meditative, and when you're doing it, you don't think about anything else, and that's really, really nice, something refreshing that you can do. And apart from that, I also went on a really nice cottage trip that belongs to one of my Canadian friends. He's a really good friend. And again, we actually met during our internship at Lumentum. And the place is really beautiful. There is a really huge lake nearby, and the water is super clear. I really enjoyed swimming in the water. It's really clear and beautiful, and I had some really cool shots with my GoPro. This time I had my strap on, and then we actually recorded some of the really cool, underwater shots. So now coming to my personal project, as you guys know, I keep working on different personal projects in electronics. So this time I have started working with FPGA. I have actually ordered one FPGA kit, and I'm working on coding it with Verilog. First of all, like experimenting with all of the options that I have, building some logics. And then finally, I'll use it in one of my projects. I'm thinking to revive one of my mini projects from my bachelor's time, and maybe I'll use this FPGA to control, the LED elements, and hopefully that will be much better than just simply using a microcontroller board or something like that. All right, we are now close to the end of the video. I hope this is not that long. But yeah, so the final one is next plans. I always make sure that we have this. So firstly, I'll continue making the Electros Classroom series, and believe it or not, this year I actually posted at least one classroom series lecture, as opposed to 0 the last year. So that's a really good improvement. But believe me, from now onwards, I'll try my best to be more consistent. Coming up, we have really interesting topics such as energy in electrical circuits and principles of generation, and then from there onwards we'll explore more concepts. And secondly, for my personal development, knowledge in the electrical domain, I'm thinking to focus more on power electronics and high-speed PCB design. This is something that many of the industry experts and professionals that I've talked to, in their opinion, they think that this is something that's going to be a big thing, and is actually now and will be the big thing in the coming years. Alright guys, before I close the video, there is a special request for you. We are really close to 1,000 subscribers, and I would really appreciate if you can extend your support and subscribe the channel if you have not yet. And also you can share this with your friends if you think that this can also provide value to them as well. And this thing will really motivate me, and we'll keep adding new content to the channel. So please stay tuned, and see you soon.